Hi everyone! I hope and pray that you are all doing well and are safe on this wonderful day. Okay, so today we're going to talk about authentic assessment. It is in chapter 15 of the textbook and starts on page 602. And as always, there is a worksheet attached. So let's get started. Before we discuss what authentic assessment is, we must first look at the definition of assessment. So according to Woolfolk, assessment is a procedure used to obtain information about student performances. Assessments sample and observe student skills, knowledge, and abilities of a concept that a teacher has just taught. So there are many different kinds of assessments, such as formative, interim, summative, and of course authentic, which we will discuss in a second or so. And also, some forms of assessment include multiple choice, tests, essays, short answers, journals. There are so many different kinds of assessment. It just depends on the teacher's desires. Now that we have an understanding of assessments, let's take a look at what authentic assessment is. Authentic literally means real. So authentic assessments ask students to apply skills and abilities as they would use in real life situations. So authentic assessment is a form of assessment in which students are asked to perform real-world tasks that demonstrate meaningful application of essential knowledge and skills. Teachers are observing how much a student is learning by creating a circumstance that apply to real life. For example, if a math teacher is teaching a lesson about percentages, perhaps creating a simulation based on calculating tips for waitresses in restaurants would be a fantastic example of authentic assessment. Authentic assessments ask students to demonstrate knowledge by doing or performing through using real-life situations. Oftentimes, authentic assessments is coupled with performance assessments. Performance assessments are any assessment that requires students to carry out an activity or produce a product in order to demonstrate learning. This is also found in the textbook. So I actually have experience with authentic assessment. I just didn't realize it at that time. But I was actually assessed this way in my American literature class when I was in community college. In class, we had just completed a story about Olaudah Equiano, who was a black man who was sold into slavery. His owner was a sailor, and because his owner was a sailor, he learned to sail, and eventually he bought his freedom. He became an abolitionist, a writer, and an explorer. So we discussed exploration and having adventures. So my teacher canceled class for a week, and our assignment was to find our way downtown and to visit one of the places that she had listed on the rubric. So these are a few pictures from the day that I had. And then after we went downtown, we were instructed to present on it. I just made a PowerPoint with pictures and talked about my experiences and what I learned. But another person, he recorded audio and created music based off of the sounds that he heard. So like the sound of the water, the sound of the people, the sound of the laughing children. He created music based off of that. And another guy created a mini movie of his experience. So I believe that authentic assessment allowed us to be creative, to use higher order thinking, and to help us to plan and create. And all those things are aspects of learning. In the textbook, Woolfolk gives us two examples of authentic or performance assessments. So the first one is portfolios, which is a collection of student work in an area showing growth, self-reflection, and achievement. Okay, so I know a lot of us took Tech and Ed, and we had to create online education portfolios. So basically, you're just putting a lot of the assignments that we've learned, things that we've learned, onto one place. Now it's more digital versus on paper. So these are just some of the things that, of course, we had to do. Okay, the next example of authentic assessment is exhibitions. Exhibitions are a performance test or demonstration of learning that is public and usually takes an extended time to prepare. Basically, an exhibition is a presentation, and that's what I did in my literature class. So my teacher had us explore and come back and then to come back and report on it in front of the class. And of course, sometimes we just use PowerPoint, and others choose to be more creative with that. So far, we have discussed authentic assessment and what they are. Now I'm going to talk about how we would grade this assessment. We grade authentic assessments by using rubrics. I absolutely love rubrics because it quantifies effort and creativity. And that's something that's not as easily graded. So we put a number onto certain criterias and levels of performance. I'm sure we've all seen rubrics, especially when we write essays. So there's a standard that we must uphold, a few things that have to be included in order to receive a specific desired grade. So far we've gone over a lot of information. So we're just going to watch a quick video to review what authentic assessment is.
As a teacher, have you ever been asked, when will we ever use this? Or why do we need to learn this? Of course you have, and you probably responded with some type of real-world application of the lesson that you were trying to instruct. What if you never had to answer those types of questions in the classroom ever again? I wish. What if the real-world application of the lessons were built into the learning targets? That sounds great. What if the class was graded based upon performance instead of memorization of facts? Okay, now you're making stuff up. You can have all of those things by integrating authentic assessment into your curriculum. Hold up, wait a minute. By into what and the who's what now? Integrating authentic assessment. What's authentic assessment? It's a type of assessment that measures student learning according to the application of skills during the performance of a real-world task. I still don't understand. How would that look in the classroom? Well, ELA students may use writing skills to draft a letter to their local congressman concerning community issues. Math students may use proportional reasoning to create a scale model of their own city. Social studies classes may use research skills to reenact a historical event. Science students may conduct water testing to ensure safe drinking water. So it's like letting students demonstrate knowledge by doing? Exactly. Well, how do I know that an assessment I made is authentic? Well, first, it must be challenging. Bring on the rigor. Second, the outcome should be a performance or some type of finished product. Third, it must encourage learners to apply knowledge to real-world situations. Fourth, it must encourage students to monitor their own learning through self-evaluation. And fifth, it must provide an opportunity for students to collaborate together, discuss, and receive feedback on their work. Whew, that sounds like a lot of work. Authentic assessment requires careful planning, but the benefits far outweigh the time sacrificed. Well, how can I give a numeric grade for authentic assessment? Well, via rubric, by assigning point values to the components of the products or performances as they align with particular standards. Students will know before they begin what is necessary to receive the highest number of points. This sounds far better than having my students regurgitate every note that they have ever written for a test. You bet. In fact, I'm reminded of a saying by Confucius. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. But I do and I understand. That's authentic assessment.
Okay, so a few key points to remember. Authentic assessment is applying class concepts to the real world. This really helps students to understand and remember what's being taught and to apply it to their lives each and every day. Also, authentic assessment captures the constructive nature of learning. It integrates teaching, learning, and assessment. So students are becoming more independent as well. And also it provides multiple paths to demonstrations. So we always want our students to continue thinking of different ways to be creative. All right, so this is the end of the presentation. And now I'm just going to go over the discussion questions. So in the video we just watched, the narrator gave quite a few examples of authentic assessment. So now that you've heard a few examples from the video and also from my personal life as a student, I would like for you to pick a subject in school, whether it's math, reading, science, whatever you would like to do. And I would like for you to think of and create 2 examples of authentic assessments that you can potentially use in your classroom. And also, if you could please record your response with the video feature or the audio feature on Moodle, because that will kind of help you get the performance aspect of authentic assessment. These are my references. And thank you so much for watching and listening. If you have any questions or concerns, or if I wasn't clear enough, or if you need help coming up with examples, please feel free to email me, and I will be more than happy to help. My email is in the right corner at the bottom. Thank you for listening, and I hope the remainder of your semester is beautiful and amazing.